One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. To let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hears back to cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he paves his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Absolutely a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you all are enjoying your Monday fucking morning. Let's get it in. Hopefully you all are doing fantastic, man. I know the hell we are over here. I woke up a little tired today because I went to bed like at 2 a.m. Okay, I mean, that's my normal time, but I just happened to wake up and I was tired. Then I took a hit of this little left-handed tobacco and threw myself into a full-on coughing fit, and now we awake. Oh, shit.
Oh shit!
We're here. We're chilling. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the whole mainstream media, the world, seeing what is going on in the world, it is kind of crazy right now. We're actually very active in a lot of shit. Okay. Today is a big media day. I think, it seems like every Monday is. Marco Rubio is in Saudi Arabia, as well as deadly weather is going to come across all of the United States. It's pretty fucked up, actually. Trump celebrates President's Day, as well as there was a lot of shit that actually happened that kind of kept out of the media a little bit. We have some stuff going on in Rwanda, as well as, believe it or not, we're going to be talking a lot about Russia, Ukraine today as well. And last but not least, there were now 11 people, unfortunately, that have died in trying to remember the exact state. Is it Kentucky? Yes, it is Kentucky. 11 people have died in Kentucky from mass flooding. It was kind of crazy with the amount of rain that we got. There were some people that got into driving accidents that were the reason why, but then there were also from straight up just drowning, and which is really, really sad. I think there was actually a couple of children involved in that, which is terrible, absolutely terrible. But before we get into it and we get into the gnarliness of the world, make sure you guys hit that like button. Number one metric of all of YouTube, helps out the show immensely, and it's free, by the way. Hitting that subscribe button is also free. Also, please consider becoming a member over here, man. We made sure that it is not going to break the bank. At least if it will, don't sign up. You know what I mean? I don't want to do that to you guys. But listen, man, it allows us to do what we do every single day, 6 days a week, actually. Let me correct myself. Not every single day. I give myself Sundays off. I got to enjoy my time a little bit too. Also follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my lifestyle, but of the show, as well as Millennial Food Time. Yes, we get crazy with it. And last but not least, on the call outs, call to actions. Listen, of course, every super sticker, super chat, gifted membership signups are, of course, going to be shouted out and presented onto the show. But if you guys would like to help out the show monetarily and skip that brutal 30% YouTube cut, we have these scrolling for the remainder of the show, man. And of course, I'll shout out your message and what platform it came on, man. So I appreciate you guys. So good morning to all of you legends. I see all of you guys up in here. We got brother S&S as well as brother Beezer, old Beezer Geezer, dude. We got Kitty as well. Hopefully you're doing fantastic. Always appreciate you. We got Bob as well. Good to see you. Good to see you, my man. And allegedly, always good to see you. Hopefully you're doing fantastic as well. And I like what Todd says, defund the government and defund our world. Yeah, no kidding. Allegedly saying, where's Lucy? Let me see. I just fed her right before I got on the show. Nope, she's not in her usual spot, so she's probably under the couch or something like that. Anyways, she'll make it her appearance later. She always does. I just saw her though. We got, oh wow, red lipstick coming in hot, by the way, saying good day here from Team Fatty. Good to see you, by the way. Thank you for subscribing and hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoy your stay over here. We got Brother Glare as well as Brother Dwayne. Always appreciate you guys and hanging out with us as well. Brother Straight Jacket saying, shit. What's good, man? We got Steve up in the building saying, good morning, Mike Ball, the cyborg. Yeah, totally the cyborg. I'm the real cyborg. Will the real cyborg please stand up? Listen, man. I don't know. I think I'm the real cyborg around these parts. Wham! Home run, homie. All right. Enough of that. We got Brother Dean Savage over there in Israel. Always appreciate you hanging out with us, man. Thank you for hanging out and enjoying. Always appreciate you. We got Brother Hardwire. Hardwire is up in the building. I meant to call him out. That's why it was in my head. But Brother Beezer gifting out 5 gifted memberships, by the way. Holy fuck. Yo, a lot of the homies got it. That is awesome, dude. Thank you, Beezer, for that immensely. That shit goes extremely far. For what we do here, man, that's like one of the best ways you can support. Obviously, that and super chats or, whatever. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the craziness of today and see what is in the media. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the very first top story. The Associated Press is reporting that top Russian officials are to hold talks with the U.S. and Saudi Arabia. And as you guys know, in the title I put, Marco Rubio is in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be kind of a big ordeal coming up. And hopefully we see some good shit come out of this.
Restoring ties, negotiating a peaceful settlement to the war in Ukraine, and preparing a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump. The Kremlin reporting this to AP on this Monday. A Kremlin spokesman saying that the Russian foreign minister and Putin's foreign affairs advisor will fly to the Saudi capital later this Monday to take part in talks that are set for Tuesday.
Right. Which obviously, as you guys know, it's Monday right now. They're landing today to have their shit tomorrow.
As I just mentioned, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio,
Brother Steve Easy, good to see you, man.
Saudi Arabia, arriving there this morning. We're told that he will lead the U.S. delegation. Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff, told Fox News Sunday.
That's right, Joker. Keep hammering those physical therapies. Don't miss them. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, don't just belittle that. Physical therapy is a huge reason why I can walk like totally proper. Like, if I were to wear pants, bro, no one would even know. Like, I walk so fucking good that you wouldn't even know. I don't have a limp. I don't, you know what I mean? So yeah, kind of crazy.
That he and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz will also take part in the talks. We're told that
you know what, Straight Jacket, we need to do a membership drive maybe this upcoming Friday or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe we should do something like that. I like to be able to do a membership drive on Fridays, which I've only done it one time, but I like to do that because on Saturday mornings is the members only live stream, right? So it only kind of makes sense. But anyways.
The preliminary
focused
on, quote, restoring the entire complex of U.S.-Russian relations, as well as preparing possible talks on the Ukrainian settlement and organizing a meeting of the two presidents, end quote. The talks follow last week's telephone call between Trump and Putin, in which Trump said they agreed to have respective teams start negotiations immediately. The call upended years of U.S. policy ending the isolation of Moscow.
No, that's my only legs page, Beezer. Come on, Beezer. Keep up with the times, bruh. Yes, sir. As well as we got Tiffany Lance. Hopefully you're doing fantastic, as well as Brother Lee. Hopefully he feels better as well. Brother Frank Samatero, good to see you, man.
Over its February 24th of 2022 invasion of Ukraine. We're learning after the call with Putin, Trump phoned Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to inform him about their conversation. To provide further perspective, we know U.S. President Donald Trump Sunday, he told reporters that Zelensky will be involved, but did not elaborate. And it wasn't immediately clear if any Ukrainians would take part in the talks in Saudi.
You know, it's funny that you just said kangaroo, and it made me think of the Congo, because the Congo is in the news today, by the way. So I forgot to mention that at the top of the shows. We're going to also discuss the Congo just a smidge, just a little bit. Piquito.
Arabia. A Ukrainian delegation is in Saudi Arabia at this hour, though, to pave the way for a possible visit by Zelensky. Zelensky has said he would not accept any negotiations about Ukraine that don't include his country. European governments have also.
I don't really understand what that means. Like, we don't want you to have negotiations with Russia unless it involves us. Well, of course it involves you. Let me back that up a little bit.
Visit by Zelensky. Zelensky has said he would not accept any negotiations about Ukraine that don't include his country. European governments.
Interesting. Okay. About not. Oh, okay.
Governments have also demanded a role. So a lot, as this is a developing situation on this Monday, but you're taking a look as early this morning, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Saudi Arabia to lead the U.S. delegation as top Russian officials have announced they will hold talks with the U.S. in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. As we get more information on this developing story, you'll get it right here on Live Now from Fox. As we hit the 6 o'clock hour, we are also following other breaking news headlines, transitioning now to weather-related headlines.
Yeah, that shit over there with Zelensky is fucking madness. Madness. Fucking terrible. What's up, Redneck Side Motorcycle Whips? Hey, man, I'm sorry I missed your show last night, unfortunately. I was eating at my parents' house. We were having a big-ass steak dinner, so... Anyways, apologize about that.
I want you to take a good look at your screen. We're also learning from the Associated Press this morning that harsh weather has moved west this Monday as a polar vortex was expected to grip the Rockies and the northern plains after winter storms pummeled the
Man,
eastern.
I didn't even say that correct. You know, I mean, I guess I do it on the top of the hour. I tell people to do it, but let's go ahead and do the first call to action. A little quick halt to the show. You know what I mean? Make sure you guys hit that like button. It's the #1 metric of all of YouTube. Helps out the show immensely, man. Come on, man. I very much appreciate you guys.
U.S. over the weekend. Unfortunate news learning at least 10 people were killed, including 9 victims in Kentucky.
Okay, so they're talking about Kentucky right here, I believe. Let me go ahead, because yes, there was the weather ordeal as well, but
Unfortunate news learning at least 10 people were killed, including 9 victims in Kentucky.
Okay, and it's been updated to 11 since this was broadcasted this morning.
Died during flooding from heavy rains. Speaking of Kentucky, this coming in from Kentucky's governor, Andy Beshear. He says, quote, "I am sad to share some more tough news tonight, Kentucky. We just confirmed another weather-related death out of Pike County, bringing our total loss to 9 people." He goes on to say, "Please join Brittany and me as we pray for these families."
What are you cooking, kitty? Where's my food? Where's the invite? Shit.
During this difficult time. Now, the National Weather Service warns of life-threatening cold on this Tuesday, with temperatures in northeastern Montana predicted to dip as low as 45 degrees below zero, with wind chills.
God damn. What are we in Alberta, Canada? Negative 45 degrees. Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Dip as low as 45 degrees below zero, with wind chills down to 60 below. Meteorologists saying several states will experience the 10th and coldest polar vortex event this season. Weather forces.
You're supposed to get negative 30 or more? Are you serious, SNS? Are you fucking serious? That's freaking cold, man. That's ungodly. let me see. So right now it is fucking cold for us too. It's 36 degrees. Our coldest day is Thursday, and it'll be the high of 29, the low of 17. And that is the lowest day, and then it goes right back up to the mid 60s right after it. So totally interesting. How far from your pad was the 4 tornadoes yesterday, Mike? Actually, I just heard this morning that there was a tornado in Alabama. I didn't know there was 4, by the way. I had no idea. I thought there was only 1. I only heard of 1. And I didn't hear what city that they were from or where it happened. So I don't know. I'd have to look that up. And hopefully they'll kind of even talk about it a little bit with this weather ordeal, but they probably won't. You know what I mean? Tornadoes happen all over the country. But anyways.
Arctic are combining to push the chilly air that usually stays near the North Pole into the U.S. and Europe. So just wanting to share this with you as you plan ahead on this Monday. We know in Alabama, the Weather Service in Birmingham is saying,
here we go. This is right here. Right here. Boom. We were just saying that about Alabama. I guarantee you they're going to say the tornado.
It has confirmed an EF1 tornado touchdown.
Boom. Called that shit. Called that. Called that shit.
Hill County. Storms there and elsewhere in the state destroying or damaging a handful of mobile homes, down trees, and topple power
mobile homes. Where are you guys at? Shit. What's up, Rabbit of Chaos? Good morning, kind sir.
Lines, but no injuries were immediately reported.
Actually, you're a woman. You're a woman. I'm sorry. I think you're a woman, right? I can't remember. I think you are a woman. I didn't mean to say, sir, if you are.
Gusts are a big thing this morning. I want to give you a live look at our XRAD system. This is our radar system that we use here on Live Now from Fox. And along with that polar vortex, as I just mentioned, wind gusts are a top priority this morning. I can show you all out in New York City how the winds are ripping at this hour. You see right there inside of our...
You know what's crazy, Beezer, is I've had this discussion a handful of times, and I've always been honored by something like this. Okay, I have people that go, well, I'll go, hey, you guys may have saw this in the news, and they're like, no, you are our news, dude. For me, that's the biggest compliment I could possibly receive. I mean, this is what I do Monday through fucking Saturday. You know what I mean? Realistically, Monday through Friday to report world news and shit, and politics, geopolitics, all the way around. But yeah, kind of interesting, huh, Beezer? We're all of us, between all of us, we know fucking everything.
Fox television studios, how the American flag and then that Fox flag are whipping back and forth, also impacting areas of Philly, giving you a live look
Monday.
there. You can see the trees swaying back and forth, and then the poles there whipping back and forth as well. As we further discuss your weather-related headlines, let's check in now with our content partners over at Fox 29 Philadelphia.
Here comes the weather for the entire country. What are they doing?
It's we got to move on. At some point, you have to move on in life.
What is happening?
Do we though?
I'm interested.
I have no idea what I'm going to do with my life, though. Hey, real quickly.
It literally feels like, what do we do now?
So this is live in Philly. Live in Philly from Fox 29.
Cold.
Maybe I'll read a book.
From cover to cover? I've always wanted to do that.
Talk about the fucking weather.
Seinfeld episode. We're going to dedicate this hour to Fred Stein and all the people that organized that Super Bowl parade.
We don't give a shit about none of that. All right.
Nasty
Let's
weather.
just go ahead and...
Morning, and you're gonna
I don't care about the... Okay, that's what I care about, a little bit of weather, but I want to see the map. I want to see the fucking map.
That's right.
And
Well done, Noah.
high 30 miles an hour over the weekend.
Yeah, true story. Down the shore, 71 miles an hour in Atlantic City. Yeah.
If they're
Philly,
only going to report Philly, then I'm going to skip it.
win. Look at this. The wind took away the umbrella in Philly. We had wind
Bro,
gusts in the 60-mile.
Your umbrella got ripped up. Oh, that's fucking terrible. Let's go ahead and let's just cancel the world now. Had to reset my camera. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's just go ahead and halt up the whole world because your umbrella fucking got ripped up. Man.
Stop the cap.
Bruh. What is going on here? Look at this umbrella. It's kind of crazy.
50 and 60 and 70 mile per hour gusts. And think about some of the old trees that line our streets in Philadelphia. Some of which on the top of her car.
Listen, man. Yeah, shit like this happens. Okay, so but there was an someone that did die though. So let's go ahead and see as we're skipping ahead. So police say driver killed after tree falls onto a vehicle in Crescentville. And now I don't really know where Crescentville is. I'm sure that's somewhere over there in Phil. I have no idea.
Rescuers arriving moments later, pronounced her dead at the scene. It must
man, that went right on top of the fucking car, dude. That is terrible.
Tons. The work to free her car up took hours. Some neighbors were shocked, but others said that with this many dead trees standing, this is bound to happen.
Wow. Damn it.
I opened up my door.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
And that's what I saw. The tree laying on top of the car.
It's very upsetting. It's very, because that could have happened to me. I mean, my car is not there. That could have happened to me too. That she was my next door neighbor. She was a nice person.
She'll be missed. These trees up here, they might seem like they're alive, but they're not. They're all wilted, dead.
Yo, Miss Lotus, good to see you, by the way. Good morning, good morning.
The area's not taken
a little
care
behind.
of like it should be.
Gunpowder Nitro, my man.
But they don't take care up here like they used to, you know, and it's really sad.
You know, tragically sad this morning, guys.
Exactly. 5 days a week, 6 shows of not fucking around. One day do we get to have a fuck around day.
And it's something Philadelphia's seen in other neighborhoods, Mike, Alex. There are city groups that work very hard to highlight troubled trees in order to have them removed and replace them with a proper tree.
I didn't tell you to tell me what you think Black Dragon would say to me. Don't do that.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
For a neighborhood environment.
Not nice.
It does leave thousands of trees, guys, some of which cannot withstand the force of the winds, the likes of which were blowing last night.
Yeah, it's because we're getting into something called a polar vortex. I believe that they cover this in there, but we'll see. You know what I mean?
Honestly, guys, still continue to blow up here in Crescentville and throughout our area. The woman's name has not been released. The victim's name has not been released, pending notification of family and friends. And there is word of a vigil up here that will be held. You heard some of that sound. This woman was held in the very highest regard by the neighborhood that she lives in. So there will be a vigil. Details to come, guys.
Put your microphone up to your mouth, homie. Like he's got his microphone down here. Like, why the fuck you got it way the fuck down here by your gut, bruh? You want to have the news and everybody else that's listening in to hear your cheeseburger getting fucking digested? What the fuck is going on here? Bring it up to your fucking mouth.
All right, Hank.
Horrible way to go.
Here's something I didn't think I was going to have to say. Measles? What? A measles outbreak continues to grow.
Measles?
To a 30-year high. And it's hitting one state particularly hard. Dr. Mike is here. Measles.
And as we
hey, sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm a little salty. Sometimes I might wake up a little salty. Get a little, like a little firecracker. You know what I mean?
Last moments from the parade, we'll show you how Jake
kind of like a little Roman candle. Shit. Too soon?
In the streets on Friday.
Can't see yourself doing anything.
All right, and we appreciate our content partners there at Fox 29 Philadelphia as they are following weather impacts as it relates to.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
You heard them mention that several people at this hour are without power, and it's also impacting the airports. Hopefully, they'll get back to the airport later this morning, and we'll be able to get updates there. But right now, giving you a live look out in Philadelphia here at 612.
Steve, man. Steve Posey, you're right. All right. All right. It has been a minute. Let's go ahead and do the honors. That's fantastic. Thank you for the call out.
On the East Coast. We're about to go to our first 2-minute commercial
break.
No,
we're not. No, we're not. We don't have to listen to none of your bullshit. None of your bullshit. All right. Let's go ahead and see what is now being reported regarding Saudi Arabia. I believe that this is Marco Rubio getting ready to come off the plane
the air. As you can see, the plane arriving there in Saudi Arabia, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving there. As the AP is reporting this Monday, top Russian officials will hold talks with U.S. counterparts on restoring ties, negotiating a peaceful settlement to the war in Ukraine, and preparing a meeting between Russian.
Yeah, me neither. I've never gotten any of that shit, allegedly. Like, the only thing that I had, I guess, what everyone else gets is like the cold and flu, the normal standard shit. I've never actually had anything else, so I'm lucky on that, knock on wood. Now, I've had physical fucking problems, but physical a little different than something like that,
President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President Donald Trump, the Kremlin reporting that this Monday to the Associated Press. Again, as I mentioned, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in Saudi Arabia this morning.
Kitty, I got one back there, right out of the camera frame. I have a cat, kitty scratch post thing, and like a whole play zone with it, as well as like this track of like two different like things like where she can like play. Yeah, she's got, man, this freaking cat. She just likes to be Hamas up in this bitch sometimes and likes to fucking terrorize the fucking house. She's a little savage.
We're learning that he will lead the U.S. delegation. Trump's envoy told Fox News Sunday that he and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz will also take part in the talks. The Kremlin spokesman saying that a Russian foreign minister and Putin's foreign affairs advisor will fly to the Saudi capital later this Monday to take part in the talks that are set for Tuesday. We're learning the talks will be primarily focused on, quote, restoring the entire complex of U.S.-Russian relations, as well as preparing possible talks on the Ukrainian settlement.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on this and move on to the next comment, Steve.
And organizing a meeting of the two presidents, end quote. The talks follow last week's telephone call between Trump and Putin, in which Trump said they agreed to have respective teams start negotiations immediately. The call upended years.
Yep, and in all transparency, I had those shots as well. Those vaccines.
Of U.S. policy ending the isolation of Moscow over its February 24th, 2022 invasion.
Yo, Huggy, good morning. Hopefully you're having a fantastic morning so far.
Of Ukraine. After the call with Putin, Trump phoned Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to inform him about their conversation. Trump on Sunday.
You saying when she's going to get her claws cut? I ain't cutting her claws at all. I had two cats. Both of them were declawed up front. They kept their back claws because they were indoor cats. And I told myself I wouldn't do that again. I think that's kind of, part of her personality is being able to do shit like that, So she doesn't actually ruin any of the furniture, just so everybody knows. Like she may like sit there and kind of do a little bit of that, the claw thing, but I'll tell her right away, like, don't do that. And then she stops. But yeah, no, her biker cut. Oh, I see. She needs to have a proper cut. I see what you're saying. All right. Shit.
They telling reporters that Zelensky will be involved, but did not elaborate. And it wasn't immediately clear if any Ukrainians would take part in the talks in Saudi Arabia. A Ukrainian delegation is in Saudi Arabia, though, to pave the way for a possible visit by Zelensky. Zelensky saying he would not accept any negotiations about Ukraine that don't include his country.
Right.
European
governments
have also demanded a role. So a lot going on this morning as relates to this breaking news. Again, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving in Saudi Arabia early this month.
Okay, that's cool. So let's go ahead and move on up and see what. Okay, here's a map of the United States regarding weather. Let's go ahead and check this out real quick. The polar vortex, they call it.
6:17 here on the East Coast, and welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Getting back to your weather-related headlines, as a polar vortex is a top priority this morning. Also, wind gusts, several areas.
Don't talk about my innocent Lucy like that. She doesn't deserve that kind of. She doesn't deserve that kind of slag. Come on, homie.
Philadelphia without power this morning, and then we're also learning.
Absolutely, Kitty. Go enjoy yourself. Always appreciate you, and thank you for hanging out with us, by the way.
That outages are a big deal as it relates to power in several areas, flight cancellations and delays as well. Let's check back in with our content partners over at Fox 29 Philadelphia.
Why? Why Philly again? No, I'm done with Philly. I don't care about the traffic and all their little. Okay, so nasty weather impacting flights across major U.S. airports. Of course, it's going to. I figured it probably would.
This morning, we are seeing some more delays and cancellations. So right now, LaGuardia, there are 48 delays and 65 cancellations. That number actually just jumped about 10 minutes ago.
Good work.
Now, per flight aware, last night, LaGuardia was dealing with 239 cancellations.
Well, I believe it was because of the amount of wind that there was across the United States.
414 delays. Newark faced 151 cancellations, 458 delays, and JFK 125 cancellations, 523 delays. Now the average delay
Kamala. Yeah, that's
yesterday
right.
at all of the New York airports were about 2.5 hours, but there were some delays at JFK that were 4 hours long.
Man, that is a lot of cancellations. 239 at one airport, 239 cancellations, 414 delays. And Newark, 151 cancellations, 458 delays. JFK, 125 cancellations, 523 delays. That's a lot of people getting held up, bro.
And this was because of all of that heavy wind and the bad weather that was all across the country. So in Denver, for example, there were
yes, exactly. You know what I mean? It totally is Second Amendment, anti-Second Amendment. You're right. You're right. I gotta agree.
1,000 flights delayed during a ground stop.
She needs her way.
And in North Carolina, nearly 700 flights were delayed coming in and out of Charlotte. So yesterday, FlightAware reported there were nearly 10,000 delayed flights within, into, or out of the country. So we're checking again at the airports for this morning at JFK, 56 delays, 29 cancellations. Newark.
Yo, America Uncensored. Good to see AU up in the chat.
21 delays and 31 cancellations. And again, those numbers keep jumping a little bit. And because of the high wind that we are expecting to see all throughout the day, the number of delays and cancellations should go up. But of course, it's always smart to check your flight status before you come all the way out into the airport. Live at LaGuardia, back to you.
All right, great advice there. Haley Fixler there with Fox 5 New York. You definitely don't want to be inconvenienced. So as you just mentioned, we've also...
All right, let's go ahead and see what's going on. Drone footage captures devastation in Gaza after 500 days of war. That's an interesting ordeal. And also, let's go ahead and see what the IDF is reporting on their Twitter. Let's go ahead and check out what they're saying about Gaza real quick. And then I believe we're going to be getting into Russia, Ukraine a little bit. We'll see. We might even go into, man, I'm trying to remember what the name of the organization was. But anyways, back into it. No,
Welcome
you're all
back to Live Now from Fox. On this Monday morning, we
Hey,
are
Baba, and you don't have to worry either. If you're driving, absolutely stay safe.
following breaking news as it relates to conflict in the Middle East. Drone footage on your screen captures the devastation to northern Gaza.
Look at that shit. Holy fuck. There's nothing there. It's just all decimated. That is fucking crazy.
Drone footage on your screen captures.
Why would you even want to be there?
The devastation to northern Gaza after almost 2 years.
Like, I understand, like, oh, this is our home. This is the only thing we... Yeah, I have been in a situation where that was my home. But if we got decimated, I would be like, yeah, see ya. See ya. If I survived that shit, yeah.
Years of the war. After 500 days following the October...
Fucking people will move from their houses just hearing a couple of gunshots at night. You think that people aren't going to fucking move because of that shit? I mean, god damn.
7th, 2023 Hamas attack on southern Israel. Only scant few standing buildings remain amid massive swaths of flattened buildings and rubble. With tents pitched throughout the ruins.
Yo, 13 Butchikhan, good to see you as always, kind sir.
As people walk through the destruction. Now, according to Gaza's health ministry, they report 48,000 Palestinians have been killed during the war, while Israel says it has killed 17,000 militants. Both sides are currently locked into a ceasefire deal as they both exchange hostages and prisoners. The deal is set to expire in...
They're probably going to talk about it with the whole IDF showing off, or the mainstream media showing off what the IDF posted on their Instagram, I'm sure, or not Instagram, their fucking Twitter/X, whatever. I'm sure they'll even show it.
March with hopes that talks could end the war altogether. If you're just now tuning in again, this is drone footage capturing the devastation to northern Gaza. We continue to get information in real time as it relates to this story. I want to now transition to give you a look, the latest from Israeli Defense Forces as we're following this story. This coming down on
Okay,
X.
here's all the different X posts from the IDF. Wow.
You can see the tweets coming down in real time. Israeli Defense Forces.
Yeah, sentenced to 13 life sentences, sentenced to 11 life sentences, sentenced to 12 life sentences, sentenced to 9 life sentences, sentenced to 6 life sentences.
Saying, quote, these are some of the
Just gonna keep coming.
terrorists that were released in exchange for innocent civilians held captive by terrorists. They then say, read that again. They say this because if you've looked at both sides of this conflict, a part of the ceasefire agreement was that in order to get those hostages in Hamas captivity, Israel would have to release Palestinian prisoners, some of whom have committed murders, rapes, and other horrendous things to mention, but wanting to provide that context.
Oh, you guys are receiving four more hostages that are dead now? News just in. Wow. So you guys are expecting that Thursday, huh, Dean? Damn.
So again, we will continue to follow the very latest.
Better than nothing. I mean, the bodies should go back to its people. You know what I mean? Their family.
Conflicts between Israel and Hamas. As we do so and look ahead on this Monday, I can tell you around 8:30 this morning Eastern time, as I give you a live look out in Jerusalem, Israel, we can expect that daily Israeli government briefing from the Israeli spokesman David Mencer. When that happens, we will bring it to you in full. That happening in Tel Aviv, Israel, a few miles away from Jerusalem on your screen. We've also seen in real time the past 2 weeks out in Rafah. That's an area of Gaza, how aid trucks are entering in real time to help aid in that humanitarian crisis that did exist long before October 7th began. 6:29 here on the East Coast. Let's go to our third 2-minute commercial break.
Well, they were hostages. You know what I mean? Like, however many days they were held up in captivity.
The hour when we come back,
until they
event
died.
underway, which will take us out to Brussels, Belgium. We'll be right back.
Belgium? Man, I knew it was going to be some fucking European Commission bullshit. Yeah, I could care too. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. And they always show off like an hour worth of it. It's like, dude, who gives a fuck? Okay, so I don't care about what's going on in the summit in Paris today. I really could care less about any of that. Now, there is a call to get Mayor Eric Williams out there in New York City to get him to resign. And it's because of his political stances changing a bit to support Trump a bit. And now New York is losing their fucking mind over it. And so they are literally protesting to have this guy drop down. Let's see.
7-11 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, giving you a live look out in the Big Apple as the calls are getting louder this morning for New York City Mayor Eric Adams to resign, and if he does not, for Governor Kathy Hochul to remove him from office. But Adams is remaining defiant, saying he's not stepping down, he's stepping up. Fox 5 New York's Robert Moses joining us live this morning.
Yep, and that's what he did tweet out on X or whatever. He did say that I'm not stepping down, I'm stepping up for Americans.
From City Hall with what the mayor had to say in church. Robert, good morning.
What are you doing, cuh? Hit play.
Well, we see Robert Schott is frozen right now, but we do have the very latest from Mayor Eric Adams. It says, quote, on X, through all the negative headlines, rumors, and criticism, I have remained clear. I'm not stepping down, I'm stepping up. No matter what you read, no matter what you see,
damn cat's
they
going
may
crazy
want
back
to
here.
fight me, but I'm always fighting for you. Again, this coming from Mayor Eric Adams on X. We do have the latest from Robert Moses out in New York. Let's listen in.
Mission to finish. I am going nowhere. Nowhere.
At two different churches in Queens, Mayor Eric Adams made it clear he will not leave City Hall on his own. He told worshipers what he would like them to say if they hear other people criticizing him.
Say, if you're not going to be with the brother, Negro, shut up.
Holy shit.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
On his own. He told worshipers what he would like them to say if they hear other people criticizing him.
Say, if you're not going to be with the brother, Negro, shut up.
Holy shit. They just said that shit.
Emotional damage.
That's all. Shut up.
Support for the mayor, even in his own administration, appears to be crumbling. According to multiple reports, at least...
It is kind of crazy, actually, Bob. All them politicians do that shit. I really kind of, I mean, I understand that that's probably an easy way for reach, quickest way for reach. You can do that straight from your house. You don't have to get on television and get dressed up or go to a studio. You know, it's a quick way to let out some information. But yeah, it is interesting times we live in.
3 deputy mayors. First Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, Deputy Mayor for Operations Mira Joshi, and Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services Ann Williams Isom have expressed plans to resign. After the Justice Department ordered charges against the mayor to be dropped, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Danielle Sassoon, and others in the department resigned in protest. Critics say the mayor is now beholden to the Trump administration.
The situation is very disturbing. Mayor Adams has a responsibility to convince the people of New York City that he will...
Yeah, no, that's very fucking true, AU.
...will be able to continue to govern in a manner that puts their best interests first at all times, and that he's not simply taking orders from a Trump administration.
Coco, remove Eric Adams! Coco, remove Eric Adams!
Governor Kathy Hochul has the power to remove...
Look at all those liberals. Look, every one of them, like they all, I don't see one guy in here that looks like, I mean, it's kind of funny because you shouldn't be able to tell just based off of appearance and looks and dressing and stuff like that, which side of the aisle you know, claim for your political whatever. But the truth is all these people, this is the standard look. God, all we're missing here is some blue-haired dude and chick. That's really all we're missing here.
Governor Kathy Hochul has the power to remove the mayor from office, and protesters in Lower Manhattan yesterday called on her to do exactly that. In an interview last week,
New York City needs to break up with Trump. Yeah, fucking all you guys are lame. What's up, Hank? Coming in with the dollar, by the way, over there, the Canadian dollar. Always appreciate you, kind sir. Hopefully you're having a wonderful morning, kind sir. Total libtards, by the way. Yes, indeed.
Not rule it out. From the sounds of it, the mayor will not leave on his own.
I'm not going to step down, I'm going to step up.
So that was the very latest from Fox 5 New York's Robert Moses as calls ramp up this morning for New York City Mayor Eric Adams to resign. On your screen, the latest from Mayor Adams. He posted this on X saying, quote, through all of the negative headlines, rumors, and criticism, I have remained clear. I'm not stepping down. I'm stepping up. Here at 7:15 on the East Coast.
Well, it's funny because I didn't like him either, obviously. I think that his policies in the past have been dog shit, but you know, some of the things that, listen, it's never too late to pull your head out of your ass type of ordeal. And not that I would praise the dude, because I don't praise him. You know what I mean? I really don't even give a fuck, to be honest. I just think that this part is interesting, though.
I want to give you another live look out in the Big Apple, this outside of our Fox television studios. We'll be right back in just 2 quick minutes.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We are going to skip right past that shit. And who gives a fuck about the UN? I don't care. We're going to skip all that as well. Look at this. They showed that off for like an hour and a half. Let's go ahead and skip past that. Now we're about to get into, hold on, my bad.
Rebels have occupied
Congo.
the coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Gina Francine.
Here we go.
We are following some breaking news headlines I want to share with you. This coming in from the Associated Press. They say Rwanda-backed rebels have occupied a second major city in mineral-rich eastern Congo. The government reporting this to AP as M23 rebels confirmed they were in the city to restore order after it was abandoned by Congolese forces. The Congo River Alliance, a coalition of rebel groups that includes the M23.
Yeah, no fucking kidding, Steve. Yeah, that is true, right? Shit. What's up, Gary? Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic this morning.
And in a statement that its fighters, quote, decided to assist the population in addressing its security challenges under the old regime in the city of 1.3 million people. They go on to say our forces have been working to restore the security for the people and their property, much to the satisfaction of the entire population, end quote. We know the rebels saw little resistance from government forces against the unprecedented expansion of their reach after years of fighting. Congo's government vowing to restore order in the area, but there was no sign of soldiers. Many were seen fleeing on Saturday and Sunday alongside thousands of civilians. To provide some context, the M23, they are the most prominent of more than 100 armed groups vying for control of Eastern Congo's trillions of dollars in mineral wealth that's critical for much of the world's technology. The rebels are supported by about 4,000 troops from neighboring Rwanda, this coming from United Nations experts. The fighting has displaced more than 6 million people in the region, creating the world's largest humanitarian crisis. We are learning at this hour, the Congo's communications ministry, they say on social media, they have acknowledged that this area has been occupied and say the national government is doing everything possible to restore order.
So he's just catering to the general consensus of the city, right?
And
Is what you're saying?
territorial integrity. Unlike in 2012, when the M23 briefly seized Goma and withdrew after intentional pressure, analysts say the rebels this time are eyeing political power. So this just in, as you can see, it is a developing story. Rwanda-backed M23 rebels occupying a second major city in Congo.
Yo, Robert, good to see you, my man. Good morning, kind sir. Hopefully you're doing fantastic as well.
Mineral-rich East. As we get more information in, you'll be the first to know right here on Live Now from Fox.
Yeah, luckily we've got no snow predicted for northern Alabama at all. Fantastic. I don't think we're going to get any for the rest of the year or for the rest of winter or whatever. But it only snows here like once every 4 or 5 years, so it's pretty rare. And when it does snow, we're only getting like half inch, 1 inch.
7:55
2 inches
on the
maybe.
East Coast. I'm Gina Francine. Let's go to our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour. We'll be right back.
This fucking cat is clawing up my leg right now, so I have to keep throwing her out from underneath where she's constantly underneath my feet or foot. I do have 1 foot on right now, and she's like trying to claw the shit out of me. I want attention. Well, you're not getting it right now. Not when you behave like that, fucking bitch. Peace talks to set the begin this week and end Russia's war on Ukraine. Yes, I got money on this shit, so let's make this shit happen. Let's make this shit happen, boy. Yes, I want to hear it.
With breaking news, I want you to take a good look at your screen as peace talks are set to begin this week to end Russia's war on Ukraine.
Yes.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving in Saudi Arabia early this morning to sit down with Russian officials. Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader has the very latest from Washington this morning, sharing more on the challenges ahead.
Yeah, that's too damn cold, man. 14 degrees with 25-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, that's for the fucking birds. It's going to be cold. It's going to be cold here for us too, considering our coldest day is on Friday, and we are looking, actually it's Thursday, 17 degrees at the lowest and 29 at the highest, and then it goes right back up to 60s, mid 60s. Interesting.
Now, President Trump has long talked about ending the war in Ukraine. We're about to get into the thorny details now, but Ukraine is fighting any effort to sideline them in this process.
Totally, Steve.
President Trump,
especially if you're a business owner. Yeah, if you're a business owner and you're a liberal, that's like an oxymoron. I mean, just usually is.
in the presidential limousine, leading the pack for the start of the Daytona 500 yesterday. But a victory lap for ending the war in Ukraine seems a long way off, even with talks set to begin this week. Trump said Russian President Vladimir Putin is looking for a way out.
I think he wants to end it, and they want to end it fast. Both of them.
Let's get it over with.
And Zelensky wants to end it too.
But how much ground is Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky willing to concede? Overnight, Secretary of State Marco Rubio
Zelensky doesn't want it to end. Stop the cap, bruh.
Stop the cap.
Arrived in Saudi Arabia to begin talks with Russian officials. But Ukraine is not included, at least not yet. Zelensky says he needs to play a part.
I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about.
Why would you do that, Hank? That is a fucking terrible idea. I would not do that. Definitely. No, that's for the birds.
I will never accept any decisions between the United States and Russia about Ukraine. Never.
Trump says Zelensky will be included in the
process. Hank is over here like as if he's from Soviet Russia. No coldness affects me.
Process, and it's clear that both sides may have to give.
One thing is clear. No one is going to walk out of this with everything that they want. It's not going to be the perfect deal for the Ukrainians. It's not going to be the perfect deal for the Russians. It's not going to be every single thing that the Americans would want in this.
And one of the next steps could be a face-to-face meeting between Putin and Trump.
It could be very soon.
Like this month?
Well, it'll be soon. We'll see what happens.
It'll be soon. That's right. Did you hear that, Papa Penguin? Did you hear that shit? Did you hear what Trump just said? Shit. Remember this. Remember this moment, cuz?
And Trump.
It could be very soon.
Like this month?
Well, it'll be soon. We'll see what happens.
Trump had a telephone call with
Putin done.
Last week. He also spoke separately with Zelensky, trying to lay the groundwork for a deal. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Doug, thank you. 8 o'clock here on the East Coast. And as we further discuss your top stories and headlines, taking you out to Paris, France. As today we are looking ahead, European leaders set to hold an emergency summit in Paris today. We know National Security Advisor
for what?
Mike Waltz spoke with Fox News yesterday to share what we could expect with this meeting today in Paris. Take a listen.
Well, what is it? Tell me.
Joining us now, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Welcome to Fox News Sunday.
What's up, Chris Lestrange, down there in South Africa? My man, hopefully you're doing fantastic on this beautiful Monday.
Good to be with you.
Okay, so a lot to cover here. Let's talk about this. European leaders putting together what's being called an emergency summit in Paris tomorrow. They've been rattled by some of what they heard from members of the administration in Munich. They reportedly are not going to have a seat at the table for these opening talks with Russia about winding down that war.
Yo, brother Sport Brand up in the building. Shout out to my man. Good morning.
That's according to Special Envoy Keith Kellogg, former general. You said last week, though, Europe has to own this conflict moving forward. So why shouldn't the Europeans have a seat at the table at these conversations?
Shannon, let me tell you what we heard this week. We heard President Trump engage President Putin of Russia, immediately engage President Zelensky. And here's what both leaders had in common. Both of them said in those back-to-back calls that only President Trump could get them to the table.
That's right, brother GEG. Good to see you, by the way, over there on the West Coast.
Only President Trump could drive peace. And, you know, this notion that our European allies haven't been engaged. President Trump also spoke with Macron this week. We have a visit with Prime Minister Starmer of the United Kingdom coming up. And we had no less than our Vice President, our Secretary of State, our Secretary of Defense, our Secretary of Treasury, who was in Kyiv personally, and our Special Envoy Kellogg, all in Europe this week, all engaging our allies. Now, they may not like some of this.
Hank, stop it. Stop it. Are you capping right now? I really feel like you're capping. No, ain't no way you bought a PS3, cuh. Unless you started when PS3 came out, if that's what you're talking about, you know.
Sequencing that is going on in these negotiations. But I have to push back on this any notion that they aren't being consulted. They absolutely are. And at the end of the day, though, this is going to be under President Trump's leadership that we get this war to an end.
Okay, so there are talks about talks starting this week. You are reportedly part of that team that's going to be in Saudi Arabia talking with the Russians, but there are questions about Ukraine's role. Here's what Senator Adam Schiff said.
Well, at least you're gaining some information over here and not you're not necessarily gaining information playing, a multiplayer game necessarily. So I guess it's better to learn something. Shit. I advocate for that.
Says the president's inability to even identify Ukraine as an equal bargaining power after all the blood Ukraine has shed, it's just a shocking.
See, I've always just been fucking amazing at those games. Always been the top of the leaderboards for every fucking, anything related to like FPS, like competition style games like Call of Duty. Yeah, that's definitely been my speed for a long time.
Surrender of American values and interests. Now, President Zelensky says he's not going to be bound by any deal that's negotiated between Russia and the U.S. Are the Ukrainians going to have a seat at the table for those talks this week?
Well, Hank, if you're serious, now we need to get you for real. Can't be playing no PS3, dude. Can't be playing no PS3. Nah, can't be doing that. We're not going to allow that to happen. You got to get a PS5 now. You got to be a big boy now. Get a real gaming system.
Secretary Besson, our Secretary of Treasury, was talking to Zelensky about, and then follow on with talks with Secretary Rubio and the Vice President.
That's true. That's fairly true, and it's been that way all the way up until PS5s came out. Then that was like, oh, now competition can go really well over here, and it did. There's always been console competition, but never as big as PC, as everybody knows. But PlayStation 5 definitely upped their fucking game to at least be competitive with PC. And those gaming rigs, I mean, dude, I can't believe the graphics that come out of that thing. I can't fucking believe it. Like that shit, it's better than seeing someone in real life. That's how fucking good it is. It's insane.
Entering into a partnership
Actually,
with the
mind-blowing.
United States. We're talking about growing the pie for the Ukrainian economy, and I can't think of any better security guarantee than being co-invested with President Trump, with the American people going forward, and having those investments as a protection in of itself, number one. But number two, the American people deserve to be recouped, deserve to have some type of payback for the billions that they have invested in this war. And then further, Shannon, I can't think of anything that...
Yo, Papa, well stated, by the way. Ukraine wants a seat at the table? Give us a complete accounting of all money and where it went. Until then, shut the fuck up. It's a big W for Papa Penguin right there.
That would make the American people more comfortable with future investments.
Man, you could still be playing, CSGO and shit. CSGO is still going. But yeah, I miss those Counter-Strike days too.
Then if we were able to be in a partnership and have the American people made whole. And I'll point out much of the European aid is actually in the form of a loan that is repaid. It's repaid with interest on Russian assets. So, President Trump is rethinking the entire dynamic here. That has some people uncomfortable, but I think Zelensky would be...
Yeah, usually partners don't like it when their partner is on the video game all fucking day. I don't advocate to do that. If you have a loved one or something like that, you have a partner in life. Yeah, playing video games all day long is probably not going to better your relationship. Everything in moderation, right? And if it's not going to be in moderation, do that shit by yourself. I mean, honestly, trust me, no chick wants to be around a dude that wants to be on a video game for 10 hours a day. It's just not really a thing. Unless maybe she's a weird gamer girl too, or like in the streamer world or something.
To enter into this agreement with the United States, there's no better way to secure them going forward. And further, there was a question of whether Putin would come to the table. He has now done so under President Trump's leadership, and we're going to continue those talks in the coming weeks at President Trump's direction.
Okay, but given the cost that the Ukrainian people have paid, why would they not have a direct seat at the table, especially if Zelensky says whatever you come up with, he's not going to feel bound by unless they're actively, directly part of these talks?
That's true. Beezer is one of the homies I play in Call of Duty with, and he does absorb all my bullets. I tell him, go run out there like a moron. You know, you're not going to kill anybody anyways. You just go out there, do some kamikaze bullshit, and guess what? I'll kill the whole team. Just go out there, absorb. I'll take them all. Let's go.
Well, look, the Ukrainian people have fought valiantly. They have seen entire cities destroyed. The United States and Europe has supported this effort, but the United States unquestionably has borne the brunt of that support over the years. But now President Trump is clear it needs to come to an end. And there are key tenets that will drive these negotiations. Number one, it has to be a permanent end to the war, not a temporary end to the war. Number two, this can't be ended on the battlefield. This has turned into a World War I style meat grinder of human beings. Number three, I talked about how the structure of our aid has to change. And then number four, we're talking about economic integration going forward as the best arbiter of peace. All of those things are key underpinnings. And in terms of long-term military security.
Well, how is it like guys like me who get to enjoy both games and Wu-Tang? Now what? Shit.
Security guarantees, those have to be European-led. And I have to tell you, Shannon, when a third of NATO members still are not contributing, a third are still not contributing the minimum they all committed to a decade ago, I think that leaves a lot of Americans questioning the level of their commitment to back the rhetoric that we're seeing.
Okay, I want to try to get to a couple of other hot spots. Before we leave this, though, can you confirm those talks are beginning?
And Zelensky knows it, Papa Penguin.
This week in Saudi Arabia between the U.S. and Russia?
President Trump initiated those talks personally with President Putin, and we'll carry those talks going forward in the coming weeks. And he is ready to move quickly to end.
Yep. And now it's totally the fucking opposite. Now everybody fucking plays. Yeah. Everybody. People that you would never think like, oh, you play the fucking video games too? Fuck yeah, I got a PS5, you know? Absolutely. Like it's very it's a casual thing. Just over the Christmas break from October to the end of December, there were 8 million PS5s sold, like brand new ones. I think that shit's crazy.
This conflict, and we will bring everyone together as appropriate. Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to get to Israel, Iran, obviously the continued instigator in a lot of what comes.
Yep, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. I understand what you're getting at, Gunpowder. Yeah, if you ain't getting down with it, somebody is. I promise that, you know. Women hate being bored. Let me just go ahead and say that.
To the shores of the people of Israel. President Trump told Bret Baier a few days back, he says he'd love to make a deal without bombing them. But that stands in contrast to this report coming from the Washington Post. Says Israel is likely to bomb Iranian nuclear facilities in the next few months. It goes on to say that part of this is based on U.S. intel. It says the military intelligence report in the Washington Post spelled out 2 potential strike options, each involving the U.S. providing support in the form of aerial refueling, as well as intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Said those familiar with the document. So there are disagreements with about how much a strike could do to actually set this program back, whether it's weeks, months, years. But it would certainly increase tensions in that region. What would the U.S. involvement be in a strike?
Boy.
Can you speak to that report of the Washington Post?
Oh, boy.
Shannon, I could speak to what the president has repeatedly said, and that is Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. That not only would be existential for Israel, I think it would be existential for the entire world because it could kick off a nuclear arms race in the Middle East. How we get there, I'm not going to get into the details.
Shit. Steve Easy, it's so good, I'm going to read it out loud. I am off. Time for my old lady to get some one-legged mediocre winnering. Everyone be safe and enjoy the day. Hey, man, appreciate you always, man. We'll see you on the flip side, as always. We'll see you tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness.
Of here, but the president has also expressed a willingness to take whatever action is necessary. All options are on the table, but also to talk to Iran as well if they want to give up their entire program and not play games as we.
Yeah, right. You're talking about Iran here. What are you talking about?
We've seen
it's not going to happen.
Iran do in the past in prior negotiations. So all options are on the table, but I'll promise you this: President Trump is absolutely serious, deadly serious, when he says Iran can never have a nuke, and certainly not on President Trump.
If you guys think that Iran doesn't have any fucking nukes, come on, bro. These fucking powerhouses, they just fucking hide shit. They're good. It's all about hiding.
Trump's watch. They are an irrational actor that we cannot allow to have their finger on the button.
Well,
Me
I'd
too.
like to get to
Me
China
too,
and so
Hank.
many other things that are on your plate at this moment. So please come back soon. Mike Waltz, great to have you.
Yeah, this was actually
All right.
I think that was a good. I think that was Mike Waltz, and I think that was actually a good place to end it here. Mr. saying the media absolutely will not stop bringing Iran into the war narrative. Yes, you're right about that. They do have to stop this bullshit, or we're going to end up switching from two wars into another and lose the 2028 election. And we would lose 2026 midterms as well. My biggest concern at the moment, aside from the war shit and where to not, take the bait kind of ordeal, is midterms. That's what I worry about. And because we got 2 solid years to make some really good shit happen, and us dealing with Iran is not good shit happening. That's not anything that we need to have. And we don't need to be dealing with that. No fucking need, actually. Let's just go ahead and stick out of that and care about Americans first, kind of ordeal. Like they're not actively here fucking bombing us or something like that. So, we got to not take the bait on that, like Mr. says. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can't thank you guys enough for being here and hanging out with us this beautiful morning. Make sure you guys hit that like button on the way out. We're going to be raiding our friend CT over there. Stick around. Let them know that it's a Mike Ball raid. We're hanging out and having a good time. So until tomorrow morning, for more of the world's madness every single day, Monday through, let's just say for news-wise, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. CST, man. So we get crazy over here. I always appreciate you guys, and thank you guys so much for everything and being here supporting me. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you guys decided to be right here with me. So until tomorrow, be safe and God bless.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning.